My journey to our day 21. My marriage to Nikki Bryan, the woman who I believe God placed in my life. So basically, this is going to give you a sneak peek into the rehearsal and the rehearsal dinner that took place at Mount Pleasant and our day 21. Here we go. So basically, this is several of the wedding parties and the facilitator, etc. And there's Andy and my mom's, and I was probably discussing some business with Andy about the spa. And here I am just intently observing. Really between Nikki and I, we actually coordinated the entire wedding, and she did a phenomenal job with the music, which everybody loved and everybody raved about. So kudos to my wife. And this is just us observing the initial wedding party coming in and just trying to get their steps right. And there's Ernest in the white shirt, the wedding facilitator. He did a phenomenal job, by the way. E-Rob. Only E-Rob can be E-Rob, and Andy and my moms are just cracking up at E-Rob because he is such a character. There's my cousin Anthony. We actually spent some time in the Navy together. Wonderful, wonderful guy. And there's my woman of honor, my best woman. Yes, I said best woman. There is no best man in my wedding. And there's Nikki's maid of honor, her best friend Barbara. And my best woman name was Renee. Here is my niece, Lakia. And my other niece is Tiara, right there. And there's, again, just the initial rehearsal of what's going to take place and how everyone is going to be situated. And there's my little god niece, Michaela. She's like, I can't wait to get down this aisle. And now everything is really starting to take shape. And everyone is really starting to get in stride with the music and their steps and what have you. So everything is really, really starting to formulate. And pretty much the rehearsal went very well. There was a couple of moments, but we got through those. And there's my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law coming down the aisle. And here's really a snapshot of the entire wedding party. There she is, my beautiful bride. She's fine too. And she's making sure everything is on point. And, you know, that's the kind of woman she is. And there's my mother and my nephew. My mom is crazy, by the way. But it's a good crazy. And there's E-Rob cutting the food again. And so here I am just making sure, you know, certain things are in place. And everybody's lining up to probably go through one more good rehearsal. Now, here is when everything is kind of set. If you fast forward to the ceremony, everything has taken place. And up to this point is Mika King, who's an extended family member of Nikki, who is singing a worship medley, and a marvelous singer. And the other singer that I contracted, Sasandra Lewis, who was absolutely phenomenal. She is not pictured here because she was actually performing at La Nuba that night. And here's a nice aerial view of the back of the sanctuary, and of course the church itself. Now, this is, again, kind of rehearsing the actual ceremony between the bride and the groom. And Ernest is making sure that everything is being followed. And also the inserts that I wanted to make sure that Pastor Black, who's in a black shirt there, also followed as well, that I sent to him. And this is just kind of going through the unity candle ceremony. And there's my Uncle Bo Peep, who's also standing in as a representative of my father, Clyde Joseph, during the sand ceremony. There's my aunt, Nikki's aunt actually, but who is now my aunt, Aunt Sheila. She is absolutely phenomenal. Now, this is now going to the rehearsal dinner itself, and we really wanted to really say thank you to our wedding party. And also the greeters, the host, the hostesses. So this is us basically passing out the gifts, and there she is again, the beautiful lady, Miss Nikki, my queen. Oh, anyway, back to the video. I get a little carried away. This is now me passing out the ties and the cufflinks to my groomsmen. There's my groom attendant, Patrick. And everybody is really, really having a good time. And that's what we really wanted. And this is me giving the tie to our wedding facilitator, Ernest, who is one of Nikki's best friends. He was so worried about that tie. He called Nikki the night before. Does Craig have the tie? Does Craig have the tie? Yeah, I got the tie, man. So we're trying to figure out what names are which. And we actually pretty much prepared all the gifts after everyone left the sanctuary. E-Rob didn't really have any confidence in me as far as putting the dress code together, but he did. And this is me presenting my gifts to my woman of honor. Inside her bag, we stitched in, I had some fabric made stitched in that basically stated, "Thank you for being part of our day." And this is me presenting the suits. We didn't have tuxedos, but my guys had suits because I wanted them to have something they can keep if they're going to spend that kind of money on a tuxedo. Inside the jacket, I also had stitched in their name and "Thank you for being part of our day 21. Love, Nikki and Craig." So every time they put on the suit, they will think of us. There's my good friend Ed Doyle in the red shirt, and my cousin Roz next to him in the orange shirt. So really, Stu himself joked about, "Oh my gosh, when y'all gonna get married again?" Because they really, really enjoyed themselves, enjoyed the gifts that were given to them. And again, we wanted to make sure that everyone did. There's my nephew's little baby, Janijah. And Jamie McFadden, the owner of Cuisineers, laid it down with the meal. And everyone was just really, really excited about the meal itself. And the food was really good. And here I am, now finally getting a chance to eat. E-Rob is still excited about the suit. Oh, there she is. Finally, we're sitting down, being able to have a moment to ourselves, just a brief moment. Again, this is on one of the watches that I got the guys. And everybody's really getting ready to depart. There's Patrick and I clowning around with my cousin Roz, who is phenomenal. I love that word, phenomenal. There's my Uncle Bo Peep again, standing in as a representative of my father, my father's brother. And this is basically, I'm preparing to leave to take Renee to her vehicle. And that's Nikki's cousin, Tara, the pharmacist. And then her friend before that was Sharita from Chicago. So we're just kind of discussing some things and now preparing to take her to her vehicle. And here I am, preparing to watch Fireproof. Nikki and I watched this movie a few years ago, which was kind of a surprise that the movie came out in theaters, because it was a Christian-based movie about relationships, about saving your marriage. And it's a great, great movie to watch. Our marriage will not always be perfect, will not always be sweet potato pie. But through communication and of course, the relationship that we develop with God and each other, we can make it through anything. But we want to fireproof our marriage at the very beginning. And then if we need to turn to it, and this is just me really thinking about what's going to take place tomorrow, how I will join my life with someone else's life for the rest of our lives. But the next day, it'll be on for our day 21. Now this is actually me preparing to be driven to the church, dropping my car off at the Rosen Center and me getting into Bruce Marshall's vehicle.
So, how long have you guys known each other?
It's been a long time actually. We actually was in high school together, and we were in the same band, Jones High School marching band. She played the clarinet. I wasn't a musician. I twirled the rifles. But so we knew each other back in high school, but we never communicated on a regular basis as far as, hey, how you doing? That was basically to the extent of that. So that's basically, we knew each other since high school, but they really didn't, communicate to each other on a regular basis.
So, where did you reacquaint with each other?
Back in 1998, in May, I was working at Dillard's. I had just recently moved back home from Jacksonville to pursue my acting career, and working at Dillard's as a transitional job. And I was working in the ladies' shoe department, and so I saw her, and I was like, I think I know who that is. I know her. And she was looking really good. But I couldn't remember her name. And she'll let you know to this day that I could not remember her name. Excuse me. So she was shopping for a birthday gift for her mother. And so I just had to ask. And I was like, well, tell me your first name again. But she never told me her first name initially. But that's how we're acquainted, and from there we exchanged numbers, and everything developed from that point.
So you've known each other for a while. How was the first date exactly?
The first date. Well, the first date we went to the movies. Your typical date. Went to the movies, and the first movie we saw was A Perfect Murder. Really good flick. It was actually a remake. Then that I was getting back and really pursuing my dream as becoming an actor, I wanted to sit and watch the credits, and which she was going to get up, but I was like, well, I want to watch the credits. And when I said that, she says, well, are you looking for your cousin's name? And I completely lost it. I just started, I let loose the most hilarious laugh in history. I laughed from inside the theater, walking outside the theater, went to the, walking to the restroom, and laughing in the restroom, and you can hear me outside. So she thought something was a little wrong, but I thought that was just so funny because one day I want to sit and watch my name on the credits. So I thought that was really funny. But she was like, I'm not sure about this character. So we left there and went to Steak and Shake, which is one of her favorite fast food restaurants. And we went through the drive-thru, and I began to order in my various character voices. And she thought I was a little crazy, probably a little mentally disturbed. Then after that, we hung out for a little bit, took her back home, talked for a little bit, and just ended with a nice, warm and cozy hug.
Today is August 21st.
Yes.
Is there any special thing that correlates with this particular date?
It does. When we were deciding on when we were going to set the date, I didn't want it too close to her birthday, which is August 26th, because I didn't want the celebrations to be blended together. I really want them to be separate. So we thought about the 14th, and then we thought about the 21st. Well, lo and behold, August 21st is actually 9 years to the date since we started dating. So that's the significance of August 21st. And then with that significance, we decided to dub our theme Our Day 21. So with that 21, it basically was August 21st at 12:21 would be the wedding time. What she doesn't know is if you take the 21 of August plus the 12 plus the 21, that gives you 9 years. That gives you the total nine years. So it's basically like a full circle.
So there had been some kind of proposal. How'd that go down?
Yeah, the proposal, my man Bruce helped me out with that. He actually, it was a last minute thing. And what we did was, she came into town. She was here for the Classic last year. And I had Bruce to have a driver to pick her up. And she had no idea where she was going. But the proposal took place at Fleming's Restaurant, Fleming's Steakhouse. And I basically had a complete private dining room to ourselves. When you walked in, it was like an oasis of romanticism. And, in each corner there were, rose petals and candles, and on top of the table there were heart-shaped glasses with tea light candles filled in them. And it was nice and cozy, and then I had someone to actually record it upon my direction. And during that time, though, there was some music playing in the background of different various songs. Sunshine by Babyface. I Can't Stop Loving You by Kim. Then the very last song was Let's Get Married by Jagged Edge. So that was the one that I actually proposed off of.
I understand that there's a funny story about the engagement ring itself. So
yeah, I actually bought the ring a year before I actually proposed to her, thinking I was going to propose to her like that November before. And it didn't happen, obviously. We talked and it didn't happen. So at that time, I had like 60 days to return the ring. And I was right on the cusp of those 60 days with Shane Company. But they went into bankruptcy. So they couldn't give me a refund. So they can give me a store credit, but I'm like, well, I don't want a store credit. We're going to the cemetery. I said, I don't want a store credit. And so eventually I tried to pawn it. I couldn't pawn it. And so I was like, well, she either got to marry me or she got to marry me. Simple as that.
Done
so
deal.
She's married.
When did your father pass?
My father passed 20 years ago on Friday the 13th in April. He had been battling a brain tumor. We can go all the way back. This is my first time coming to the cemetery in 20 years because my father, I feel, is not physically here. He's spiritually in here, but he is and was a very integral part of my life. And I wanted to come out and pay homage to him and kind of garnish. If I can be the husband that he was to my stepmother on my gosh, we have a great marriage. So I love my father dearly. So we're gonna get out and I gotta try to find a plot because I haven't been out here in 20 years, so bear with us. Looking for the plot. And so I haven't been out here in 20 years. Okay. I got it. Well, Dad, I'm finally now taking the plunge. I hope you're proud of me, because I want you to be. I miss you, and I love you. And if I can just be half the husband that you were to my stepmother Betty, I'll be one of the greatest husbands that ever walked the face of this earth. So I'm hoping and praying that those qualities that you had as a husband will be instilled into me. And I know I haven't been out here in 20 years, but I know you're not physically here, you're here. So I love you. Oh, Father God, I come to you now with bowed head and humble heart, giving the honor and the glory that you are so very worthy of. Father God, just thanksgiving on my tongue, oh gracious God, and praises in my heart. Thank you for allowing me to have my father for the time that I did have him, for 18 years. I thank you for his love. I thank you for his intelligence. I thank you for his wisdom. I thank you, Father God, for his passion. But now, Father God, I'm asking to channel his husband skills, to channel his husband love, to channel his husband Christianity, so I can use that in my marriage, to have my marriage sustain and last as long as your will allow. So gracious God, I'm praying that I can be the husband that he was, but even also better and be the husband that you need for me to be to Nikki. So I thank you. I thank you, Heavenly Father, for all that you have done, all that you are currently doing, and all that you will do. These and many blessings I ask in your Son, Jesus' name. His name I pray. Amen. All right, Mr. Joseph. I got a wedding to get to. I'll chat with you later.
Oh, yeah, when you get to order, you'll need those.
I'm trying not to.
Oh man, so how are we feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm not necessarily nervous. I'm kind of nervously excited. You know what the future may hold. Just making sure I'll be the man and the husband that she needs me to be. So, but I'm feeling good. You know. There are no second thoughts. I don't have on my track shoes or anything like that. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. She loves me, and I know she loves me. And when you have have someone like that in your corner, you can truly conquer the world. So, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Well, I was just gonna ask you.
Oh, yeah.
Can I interject a little bit?
Absolutely.
Did you see the last? Well, not the last episode, but the episode of Martin. You watched Martin?
I did, yeah.
You remember when he was getting married, and he said he was in the suite by himself. He said, "I'm gonna get my boogie on one last time
Right.
by myself."
Right.
I just wondered if you want to jam as we proceed over to the church. Just
Let's
one
do
last.
this, baby.
Okay. Well,
Let's do this.
Let's do something. Let's do something. You want some jazz, old school?
Old school. Old school, baby. All right, ladies. No mas.